Hello and welcome to the O Canada, Our Home and Inventive Land podcast, based on some of the over 300 stories in my best-selling book of the same name. You can find it at my website, www.professormarkrector.com. Okay, here we are in the Great White North, snuggled deep in the inner sanctum of the Fortress of Ineptitude. Superman's Fortress of Solitude is just down the ice road. Hang a left at Santa's Workshop and go past the Husky Depot sled dog store. Today we're going to step into the radio lab and take you back in time to the early days of social media. You know, teenagers on their devices, but this is no ordinary teenager, and this is an incredible story in the world of communications. And now, as we all know, social media has been around a long time, longer than some of you may suspect. It's not just the millennials who've been out there on the interwebs, typing in all caps, yelling at someone to get bent. No, we're going back a bit before that. Before Facebook, before Twitter, before, well, let's just see. So sit back, sit up, get down, and settle into our DeLorean time machine, as we're about to go back in time. At 12:15 a.m., in the frosty early hours of a Monday morning, a 13-year-old boy in his pajamas in his darkened bedroom in Aurora, Ontario, was straining to read the messages by flashlight from his device. The lights were out, the room was dark, and the cold, crisp, howling wind, night air of an April evening was slowly frosting the outside of his bedroom window. He knew he should be in bed, and his parents would scold him. But this was important. No, he was not on his iPhone, nor was the message coming through on Twitter. It was not even a conventional text from his grade 5 sweetheart. No, not on that night. On that night, with that message, he was hearing the coded SOS message tapped out in Morse code from the radio room of a ship in the frigid North Atlantic, which would both literally and figuratively go down in history. It was on that fateful night of April 14th, 1912, and the ship was sinking. The message read, CQD, CQD, Titanic is sinking. Edward Ted Rogers, born on the 21st of June, 1900, died on May 6, 1939, was a boy genius who had been fascinated with radio for the previous few years since hearing about it as an 11-year-old in physics class at the U of T grade school. He'd been one of the very... If you want to hear the rest of this exciting episode, go to your favorite podcast app like Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, CastBox, Podbean, or anywhere you get your podcasts. At the O Canada, Our Home and Inventive Land podcast by Professor Mark Rector, you'll hear some of the more than 300 stories from my best-selling book of the same name in a fun and engaging theater of the mind style. There's already 10 new episodes out, including the origins of the game of hockey and the invention of some of its equipment like the goalie mask, the invention of the light bulb, yes, it was Canadian, by Matthew Evans, not Thomas Edison, and the story of one of the most accomplished and determined women in Canadian history, Dr. Elizabeth Elsie McGill. She was the very first female aeronautical engineer, as well as the story of Banting and his invention of insulin, the story of the top-secret spy training school, Camp X, and the Canadian invention of gasoline, and many, many more. So quick, go search for my name on your favorite podcast app, Professor Mark Rector, and listen to the O Canada, Our Home and Inventive Land podcast, with many engaging episodes and many more to come. I'll also put the link below in the comments to some of the more popular podcast applications. Don't forget, friends, I'm Professor Mark Rector, and I am Canadian.